Okay, Jayashankar, we are good to go.
I think we're starting with Navkar Mantra. Sanvi and Shraya will. Isn't Sanvi?
Let me
Yes.
hold on just a second.
Yes.
Can you unshare?
Oh, sorry.
No.
Hold on.
Did we start?
You can start. Go ahead. Yes.
Sanvi, we request you to Sanvi and Shraya. We request you to start with Navkar Mantra. Please recite Navkar Mantra. Thank you.
Namo Arihantanam, Namo Sitanam, Namo Ayariyanam, Namo Uvajayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam, Eso Panchanamokaro, Savapava Panasano, Mangalarancha Savesim, Paramam Havai Mangalam. Jai Jinendra.
Jai Jinendra, everyone.
Jai Jinendra.
By Dharmesh Bhai, you put me in a difficult spot. I was told never to go speak or talk after such a melodious, good voice. It makes me uncomfortable. Sanvi and Shraya, you recited very well in melodious voice. Thank you on behalf of Jain Center of Southern California. Jai Jinendra, everyone. First of all, I want to thank you all that you took time to attend this meeting. This is very important meeting. We are very fortunate that we have a wonderful center, Jain Center of Southern California, with excellent community, very supportive community, and we have very good team to lead us and to help us. Always we see that when we are in the position in administration, our goal is to do what is best for our Jain Center and lead in a way that Jain Center can continue to progress. We are fortunate that we have most of the seats, most of the positions are filled uncontested. There is one position that's the BOD, and I don't want to take away the topic. I think by Dharmesh Bhai will be talking about. We have two candidates who would be contesting for, but my point is that democracy is always a healthy way to run any organization and be transparent and have a good teamwork. Without taking up too much of time, I cannot stop without saying thanks to our team by Dharmesh Bhai, Rupa Ben and Prashant Bhai. They have taken this task to help us out to run the election. And I would request Dharmesh Bhai to give us details about the election and then the debate, rather than debate, introduction of our two candidates. And then there will be a time for question answer. So Dharmesh Bhai, thank you for allowing me to speak, and floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayesh Bhai. So we will cover the next few slides of what to expect as part of the election process. What are some of the key dates and how we will conduct the rest of the meeting for today. So this is the election committee. It's 3 members, as Jayashankar already mentioned. So myself, part of the election committee chair, Rupa Ben Shah, she's a committee member, and Prashant Shah, also a committee member. Here's the election key dates for the election. October 23rd, which is today, at 10 a.m., the voting process has started, and the voting instructions were already sent in an email to eligible voters. So if you are eligible to vote, you should have received an email this morning around 10 o'clock. It includes the instructions on how to vote. And also, if there's an issue or you have any questions, you can contact us. There's a reference email as how you can reach us. The next key milestones is going to be when the voting ends, which is November 7th at 4 p.m. Pacific time. this is when the voting process will end. The election results are not officially endorsed and completed at the time. Only the voting process ends. On November 10, the election committee will submit a full election report to ECBOD to review and approve. And then on November 12, we will publish the results to the community. For rest of the meeting today, here's the order. We're going to have the speech first. So we have two candidates. We have one position for the BOD. It's a general position, 4-year term. It'll start in January 2022 and end in December 2025. We have two candidates, Ashok Bhai Savla and Kalpesh Bhai Javeri. We will have a 4-minute speech time for each of them. So we'll request Ashok Bhai to go first and then Kalpesh Bhai. While the candidates are giving their speech, please start typing your questions in the chat box so that we can make sure that when we go through the Q&A session, we can address your questions. Please, again, we'll have 10 minutes for Q&A. Please make sure your questions are relevant to the election and it's an appropriate question. If you have a specific question for a candidate, please write down the name of the candidate. So your question and the name of the candidate. So it's going to help us look at the questions and ask that to the right candidate. And to the candidates, the request is, since we have about 10 minutes for Q&A, you can keep your answers to maybe 60 seconds or less. So it will allow us to probably address about 10 questions in total. And with that, I'd like to thank Dr. Jay Shah and the ECBOD for giving opportunity to us, the election committee, to help execute. And thanks to Prashant and Rupaben for joining me in the team. So without further ado, let's go ahead and go to the speeches. So first up, we'll have Ashok Bhai. Ashok Bhai, may I please request you to go for the next 4 minutes or up to 4 minutes to give us your speech?
Dharmesh, can you stop sharing?
Yes, I am.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Just trying to move my cursor.
Jai Jinendra. As you know, this is Ashok Savla. You have seen me active in the center for many, many years. And I wanted to continue my services for 4 more years. And I think I can retire after that. As far as my work is concerned, all of you know my work I have done at Jain Center, whether I was in the committee or not in the committee. I have been president for 4 years, vice president for 2 years, treasurer for 4 years. When I was finishing up my treasurer's position, we had introduced the Jain Center to automate our accounting system. And I would like to thank Prafulaban at that time. She took the treasurer's job and converted the manual accounting system into the QuickBook what we have today, and made it very easy to present all the financials to the community at large. I have gone through the construction of the old Derasar Cultural Complex, new Derasar, Volvo property, all the major events that we have. I've been witness to those events, and a lot of them I was actively involved also. And my main goal to run for the position again is we have taken up a challenge to finish up a project, the property that we bought behind our current complex, so that we can offer a lot more services to our community. And that's the main goal that I'm running for this position. And I'm always open to help anybody, anywhere, everywhere, wherever you need it actually. And you have seen me helping everywhere, even in the kitchen help too. Patsala, I have helped them a lot. It was
I think he got disconnected.
In the meantime, if people have questions, they can start typing in the chat box.
Are we trying to get Ashok Bhai back? What are we doing?
Yes, waiting for him. Maybe he's reconnecting.
Yeah, tell him to stay connected with Jain Center.
Should I try calling him?
He said he just sent me a message that he is done. He is going to reconnect. So we can go to the next speech. So for everybody, please start typing your activities and the questions, sorry, for Ashok Bhai. And with that, we will hand it over to Kalpesh Bhai.
Jai Jirendra, can you hear me? Good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Jai Jirendra, everyone. Thank you again for especially to the election committee, the nomination committee, and of course the AV committee for putting this together and giving us the opportunity to be here today. In my biodata, what I submitted, I did not turn around and put down stuff about my qualifications, my background, etc. I guess one of the reasons I didn't do that because I personally feel that my involvement with Jain Center does not require for me to make accolades or mention of my achievements. But for the records, because it was supposed to be a biodata, I will take maybe 30 seconds or 45 seconds or maybe even less than that to tell you where I have come from or what my background is. My family has always been one which has been big in seva, in doing the service. My parents are in their 80s with God's grace and good health. And at the same time, they've turned around and sorry. So at the same time, in the last 5 years alone, my mother has been the president of Giants and my father's international chair for international distribution. And if everybody knows about Giants, they are an organization which helps in times of disasters. And everything from Kashmir to Gujarat to you name it, especially in the country, they have gone and physically helped rebuild schools, houses, etc. And so my parents are very much a part of that, even when they were in their late 70s. For myself, my educational background, I am a bachelor's degree from India, plus I'm a graduate gemologist. Out of GI in Santa Monica, now in Carlsbad. I'm a fellow of the Forum of Indian Gemologists. I'm also a certified gemologist by the American Gem Society. These are the degrees and titles that I hold. I'm not even going to talk about any of my for-profit businesses and companies and corporations because that makes absolutely no sense. But I would let you know about where I have served or continued serving, either as a volunteer and or as a nonprofit or in any nonprofit organizations. Having said that, in our industry, the Indian Diamond and Colorstone Association, I've been a president twice. The GI Alumni Association, LA chapter, I've been a director. The GI Alumni Association, Indian chapter, I was a charter president. The Forum of Indian Gemologists, which is now a 4,000 plus member organization, I was a charter president. I've been a director of the 24 Karat Club. I've been in the Diamond Club West Coast, which is a worldwide world federation, 33 bourses worldwide. Of that, I've been the vice president for the last 4 years. And now I'm the honorary acting president who will take my position probably as a full-time president from March of next year. On a fun note, I've been a ski patroller. I was on the mountains in Big Bear, patrolling the mountains and helping saving people who got stuck up there. And finally, Akshar Gyan, an organization in India which was created to help underprivileged children for education all the way from first grade up to college level. We had an LA chapter, and I've been a director of that. And for now, we have definitely, because of Indian regulations of getting money in from overseas being kind of a problem, we have gone and suspended our activity from LA. But for longest time, we supported a lot of students in those schools out of here in India. So that's just my educational background and my professional qualifications, which are nothing to do with the industry.
Yeah, you have about 30 more seconds.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Well, I'll say I have served for over 10 years. I mean, if you read the little write-up that I wrote, shows about the 15 different committees and areas that I served in the Derasar. But my biggest thing is I serve selflessly. I plan to continue doing so. I do not believe in putting myself, I think I like to call myself as being invisible or transparent in the way I like to serve. There is no need for ambition or personal motivation or personal gain. I simply look out for ways of working. And most importantly, I put out fires. Leave alone trying to ever create a fire, but if there's ever a fire of any sort, and you know what kind of fire I'm talking about, more of, internal strife or any kind of a discussion or I'd say disagreement, for lack of a better term, although nothing is disagreement. We are always in an ekantavad, we listen to everyone. But having said that, I like to put out fires. I like to come to an amicable solution to all. So if you think I'm the right candidate, I look forward to getting your support, your vote. I would appreciate it if you will turn around and let your friends and family know. And whether I'm chosen or not chosen, I look forward to be working with the center and growing our legacy for years to come. Thank you very much. Jai Jendra, Pranam.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashok Bhai. Thank you, Kalpesh Bhai. We will now turn it over to Prashant and Rupaben to look at some of the questions we have received in the chat box. As I mentioned, we'll go through Q&A for about 10 minutes, and let's start. Prashant and Rupaben, please take one question at a time, and please mention who the question is for.
Hang on. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is question for Ashok Bhai. What is your plan for newly acquired property in the back of our temple? Since you did mention a property in your speech, so this is a question we would like you to address.
Jai Jinendra, thank you for the question. We have bought this property for almost I would say more than 3 years now. It's high time that we start, developing that property and put it to the use what we bought it for. And that's what I wanted to get that kicked off. The plans are already in place, and we need to get the building committee get going. And whatever, I can do in terms of the finance help or the accounting help, I could do that also, which I have done in the previous projects also. So my goal is to get this project kicked off and then get started. So, people see that there is something is being done as to property.
I think next question is for both the candidates. I will start with Ashok Bhai first, and then Kalpesh Bhai can answer. How both of you are planning to involve young professionals for the different activities and donations?
As far as the youngsters are concerned, as you could see in the current EC and BOD, I have talked to a lot of the youngsters, to encourage them to come in the EC and BOD committee, see what Jain Center is doing, where we need their help. And you could see the results. This EC, there are so many youngsters, for example, Dharmesh, Piyush Jain, even our current PR, Samir, now he's going over, getting to the higher position, which is a VP. I do talk to them every now and then. So I do encourage them to come forward. If they do not come forward, then, Jain Center as a whole, we're not going to know what we can use them for and what they can bring to our Jain community. Eventually, they are the one who are going to take our Jain Center. So that is what I keep in mind when I'm talking to them and encourage them to come into the committees. And so far, I think I've been successful to whoever I talk to bring them in the committee. And that's what I'll continue to do.
And
Kalpesh, your turn to address
Sure.
that question.
Sure. Thank you very much. A brilliant question, whoever asked it. And because of my association with various committees in different areas, the one thing that I have learned is that the new generations, whether it's the millennials or the Z Gen or even the Y Gen, all of them collectively are very motivated and are very encouraged. If they appreciate or they like something, then they are very well invested in it wholeheartedly. The thing that we need to do today is, instead of individually focusing on 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 members, or even a handful of them from our center who approach us or are active in our committees, we need to cast a wider net. This is one of the pillars of what I'm hoping to be able to do, is to reach out, because we have such a vast audience. And when you interact with these youngsters, you recognize that their values are not very far from our own. In fact, today, I would say after decades and decades, you're actually seeing giant values being appreciated worldwide a lot more. But then how come we're not being able to drag these people into our center, which is the epitome of everything that we are doing and everything that they're thinking? So our approach has to be to appease, or not appease, but to appeal to them and to show them what we stand for. Sometimes they may not appreciate certain older ways and thought processes of ours, but if the end result is the same and we're all thinking in the same way of helping the world, helping people, helping the ecology and animals and everything ethical, then in that case, it's a matter of reaching out to them in a wider net and coming to donations and being able to get the support. Trust me, they have the money and they will spend it. This is the same generation which does not blink an eye in spending several $1,000s on disposable products because they appreciate it. So our message has to go out to them. And I think I would like to end up approaching it in a much wider net, much bigger area, maybe rope in the same people who are already active in these groups, in our groups, and use them to be the mouthpiece. Today, I cannot give the same message to a 20-year-old. I'm well in my 50s. You can't expect me to give him and speak the same language as him. But another 20-year-old, another 30-year-old who firmly believes in us is our mouthpiece, as the people who speak out there on our behalf. And that's what we hope we're going to be able to achieve. Thank you.
Very good. We have a few more questions. We want to get through them as quickly as we can. This is for both of the candidates. Do you support veganism for our Jain Center to continue to be vegan? So quickly, it should be a quick response to that. So I will ask Kalpesh Bhai first and then Ashok Bhai.
Thank you. Be happy to go first. Veganism, I think that's something very, very required. As a matter of fact, again, going back to the previous question, a lot of the younger generation who has gravitated towards veganism actually has appreciated this value more than sometimes the older generation. I personally am a vegetarian, but I'm not vegan. But my son, who maybe in his beliefs and practices may not be going to Derasar or serving as much, is a vegan. What it comes down to is that, and again, Anekantvad, we do turn around and we have to end up, everyone is, can have their own thought process, their own beliefs. We can't force it down on anyone. But having said that, if we stand, especially because we already took the stand of being the first center in this, in the United States, which is vegan, then I do not think that we should turn around and back off from that. Because now when you take a about turn and you go back, you've just undone what you've gone and done, and you lose credibility. If we wanted to take the debate whether it should have been or not done, it could have been done at that time. But the very fact that we've stepped in that direction, and personally, if you ask me, I think it's a brilliant decision. But on the other hand, whatever the decision was made, for whatever reason, whichever committee did it, we have to respect that and move on from that. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Ashok Bhai.
I do agree with what Kalpesh Bhai just said, and I do support the veganism. And as a Jain Center, we should continue to what we have started, as opposed to going in the reverse direction. So my answer is yes, I do support veganism.
Okay, very good. Thank you. We'll give later on. We'll have probably live questions, but right now we're managing questions. We want to get through some of the questions first. this is a question to Ashok Bhai. Again, discussing a big project about the property. Are you planning to go for $20 million project for the property?
As in the BOD meetings, and then specifically the development of this property, I had always said, look at our needs. What do we need? We do not need the fancy building. What we need is the classrooms, dining rooms, and then the parking, related parking. Let's just go with that only, as opposed to having a fancy building or $20 million project. This could be, was easily cut down to probably at least a half of the, the 20 million budget that everybody's, hearing that number. So my take is on that: do what is needed, and not to do anything that is fancy that we do not use it down the line. As you can see, our current cultural complex, there is so much of a, part of the building, we don't even use it 100%. So my take is on that: whatever we can use it, let's do that only, and do not worry about anything else. We worry about it down the line. So let's get going with what we need immediately.
So let's take one more last question. I think we're almost out of time. So we reserve 30 minutes, right? Prashant or Rupaben, do you have one last question for each candidate that we can ask? 60 seconds, please.
If you don't mind, can I interject that if there are some questions from the community members who have taken time to attend this meeting, to ask the candidate, if everybody agrees, we can extend 5-7 minutes if there is a question coming from the community. If both candidates agree, and if your committee agrees.
Yes, that would be fine. Please post your questions so that we can continue to that.
I think Mahendra uncle might have a follow-up question. I saw his hand going up.
Yeah, please post it. Please post it so everyone can see the question and we can pick it up, right?
Jashwant Bhai would like to have a live follow-up question. Jashwant Bhai, would you like to just type it and we can ask?
Yeah.
Or
let's take up the question that we already have there. Are there any questions to ask, Prashant or Pabin?
I think for Kalpesh Bhai, if you have a quick comment on the property project, because I know we asked Ashok Bhai quite a bit. So if you have a quickly to address, because that is a project on hand, and if you have any suggestion or comment quickly, we want to give you that time.
Absolutely, thank you. I will say that I've been involved during the whole process because I happen to be also in the board of directors for 2 years in Manubhai's when Manubhai had to retire early, and I'm familiar with the entire purchase, and I think it was a good decision. We were moving forward with it. I understand because of COVID and the pandemic, we have had a little bit of a snag in our projects and our aspirations. But having said that, I'm also a firm believer in our board. We deliberate a lot on the board. We discuss a lot, but ultimately everybody's thought process are put together and the outcome has always been brilliant. I would like to see that we continue that process of working through every part of it. Although I may have my own ideas about how it should be done, this is not my own house, neither is this my office. This is something that I'm doing for the community. And then the 15 people chosen who have chosen the 1,500 people who have chosen these members, this board of directors, have expecting us to end up making the best decision on their behalf. So I would like to work through it. Yes, it could be scaled down, it could be scaled up, it could be ended up going and done in phases. As long as we have, now that we've embarked on such a big mission, we can do it in parts. We can do it in something where we can do a good portion of it, which is usable, work on that right away. And then maybe in a year, 2 years, we approach it again. And we continue doing it in a step-by-step formation. Thank you.
Got it. Go ahead, Rupa, do you have questions, or I have one more?
Go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah, in COVID times, we have seen that because of, people cannot really come to the temple, we financially, we took a hit. Like we didn't get enough donations that we normally get during the year. So the question for maybe both candidates, what are your plans or vision is to increase donations, or in other words, our financial stability for next coming 4 years? So maybe we'll start with Ashok Bhai and then we'll give it to Kalpesh Bhai quickly.
I think current board and EC has already started approaching with the different programs, which was like one of them was auto deduction, and that has worked out, very well. A lot of people have signed up for it, and we need to continue appeal to the community at large. That, hey, look, you're not coming to the data, but we have some of the fixed expenses that need to be taken care of it. So we need your help. Currently, so come forward and help us in those the need that we have, and to get us through this pandemic. It's not going to last forever, so it's a matter of temporary position that we are into. So we are working towards it, and I will continue to promote that among the community members to sign up for the the extra donations for the maintenance or the ongoing expenses that we have for the data, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bhavin, do you have additional questions from the chat?
I don't have additional question from the chat, but I do have a question. Since
Did you want me to, sorry, did you want me to answer that question
Yeah.
also? Because that's what I was asked.
Yeah, we do.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Dharmesh Bhai asked for both of us. So I'll be quick on this.
Sure.
First of all,
Yeah,
I wanted to definitely answer the question because I want to commend Ashok Bhai, because from day one, he has been very much a part of the auto deduction. I know because I've been a part of it for almost 3-4 years, even before the pandemic happened, and he has been an integral part of it. Having said that, the one thing the pandemic has gone and done is it has changed habits. What I mean by habits, people have sometimes lost their habit of working, or they've gained the habit of working out of the house. Similarly, going to the Derasar has unfortunately become something which has gone in the back burner, especially for those who are already marginal, or maybe to some extent some of the younger people who are not coming that often, perhaps except for Pathshalas. So I think the first thing that needs to be done is we need to reinvigorate people into once again associating and or connecting with the Derasar. One such project we started, which I would think I kind of influenced, or at least started it, is that start doing this live darshan, where we start asking people every morning to get up and first thing open live darshan and do darshan. When you associate with something and you believe that that is mine, maru chhe, to tame ema jaso. Jhare pachu farivar baddu khulse tare, people will come back again. The more they come back, the more they will feel belong. But along the way, we need to inoculate the habit, or inculcate the habit of them associating with our Derasar. By keeping them away from us, that's not going to happen. But once they start coming in, yes, we should start pressurizing them that if this is what you want your future to be, your future generations to be a part of, then you need to support this physically and financially. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you have any more questions.
Mahendra Bhai has Jayesh Bhai just texted. Jayesh Bhai, are you talking? I don't see any questions from Mahendra Bhai.
Do we have any additional questions from anybody? Please type it in the chat box so we can ask.
I have a question. Since this position is going to be 4-year long and it's a long-term planning, how both the candidates are planning to address the evolving needs of the community. There would be more seniors. The demographic may be changing little by little. What are your plans and what are your vision for the evolving and changing community in next 4 years? I'll start with Ashok Bhai first, and then Kalpesh Bhai can answer.
Rupaben, as you know, our Jain Centers, the executive committee and board of directors, they're always open to any of the challenges that our community faces, and willing to work with the community, and we'll continue to do that. And like some of the big donors are already looking into to do the senior housing around Derasar. So they're keeping their eyes open for the properties around the Derasar. So it's close by to them to visit the Derasar also. And then we're trying to create more activities at Derasar for seniors, with the interest, interest. And we'll continue to do more of those. And in this way, we're using our property that's been sitting idle. So put to the use the property that we have, and then we'll get the more involvement of the community members within the Jain Center activity also. And that in essence will bring in the donations also, and people will feel that they're part of the Derasar also. So they will openly, even wanted to donate more money because they are taken care of also.
Okay.
Kalpesh Bhai.
Yes. Yeah, I think that what you asked was a brilliant question. Again, very good question. It basically is the backbone of what I've been discussing, which is that we need to involve the next generation and take the support and the guidance of our the seniors generation. And in doing so, we first of all need to start attracting back the younger people and making them more involved so that they can be the future committee members and directors and executive committee members. And where the seniors are concerned, yes, we need to be able to bring them, because as you said quite rightly, with the changing demographics, the older people also need to be, and you need to attach with them. You need to end up being able to reach out to them. And the best thing we can do is we have such a beautiful temple, such a nice property. We need to find ways, whether if they're living close to us, if they don't, then we end up having some kind of, cars, drivers, bus services, which can bring in these members, these senior members, and spend 4 to 6 hours in the derasar, because a lot of their children and grandchildren are working, and a lot of them sitting at home are not being able to do what they can do. But if they can meet like-minded people, if they can meet people of their age, if they can come to the derasar and તમે સેવા કરો કે તમે अपने ભજન अपने કોઈ ભક્તિ ભાવના કરો કે તમે simply you spend time together, I think that's going to enrich them by 10 years of their life will increase for doing that. So yes, we do need to, and I think we need to do all of what I just spoke about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
So we will, I know we extended minutes. Looks like there is a lot of interest and we have more questions. So if it's okay, Ashok Bhai and Kalpesh Bhai and Jayesh Bhai, we can extend for a few more minutes. I see some of the hands have been raised. I believe we have a question from Jashwant Bhai and Pradeep Bhai. I believe I saw hands earlier. So if you're okay, we can allow them to take questions next few minutes. Is that okay?
Yeah, I think Pradeep Bhai is just saying to teach people how to use the Zoom feature of raising the hand as opposed to.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So we'll do that. So, all right. If you're okay, we'll let Jashwant Bhai ask a question, and then I'll see if somebody else has a question. We'll take that.
Yes.
Samir, can you please unmute Jashwant Bhai for a second?
Yeah.
Jai Jinendra, I appreciate answering the question about veganism and about the veganism. Our center has been the first center as mentioned, and there has been some discussion. My question is, we respect Anekantwad and we respect the difference of an opinion. There's no question about it. However, there are certain basic Jain principles and Jain tenets that we all Jains follow. Food habits, not eating root vegetables and kind of stuff. There are no opinion where somebody wants to eat it and somebody doesn't want to eat it. Jain Center doesn't allow it. So in that respect, there is a lot of hinsa in United States in the production of the dairy. There is some movement, some people are talking, they want to make the JCSC as an optional vegan center. And my question to both the candidates is, if a voting comes, would you vote to make a JCSC an optional vegan, or it will be only vegan? I'd like to know the yes or no answer from both the candidates, please. Thank you very much.
I'll be happy to go first. Yes, if you ask me personally, I aspire to be vegan. I'm not vegan yet. If you ask me what I would vote for, honestly, Jaswant Bhai, I don't want to influence anybody by my discussion or my saying. I am a firm believer in democracy, and I would follow the lead of the majority. But I think you already got my answer when I say I'm aspiring to be vegan, but not vegan yet.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to say whether both of you are personally vegan or not. That's not I ask you. I'm sorry if my question wasn't clear. What I meant to say, if a voting comes, would you vote for a JCSC to stay only vegan or want to become an optional vegan? That's my question.
Yes, my apologies. And actually, I think in my previous answer, I spelled that out very well. What I said by that was, if you had to take such a debate, It should have been done at an earlier stage. Now that you've already gone vegan, going backwards is showing that you are retracing your steps so that you're not sure of what she did. So no, I would not ask for option. If we're vegan, we stick to vegan. If everybody asks for a vote, okay, I'm sorry, but I would stick to it just because the decision has already been made. I do not believe in going back unless we had made a grave mistake, which I don't think we did. It's okay. So I would stick to being vegan just one way, no options.
Thank you.
And again, I had said the same thing. You do not want to go in the reverse direction. So the answer is still, continue what we have started as opposed to reversing it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate. I'm done.
There
Okay,
is one question, last question. I think Prasant, you want to take it? From it was sent at 3:18.
I think there is a Pradipankal also has a question still.
yeah, please unmute.
We'll take a question from Pradeep Bhai. He raised his hand, so if you can unmute Pradeep Bhai quickly.
Tejinendra, on this question of vegan, I think there's a lot of confusion. Whether what you do at home is a whole different story. But we had a recent very nice presentation by, I forget her name, very nice presentation, where milk not only has violence problem, it also has a lot of health problems. So we really need to think that through in that, are we gonna even think about it remotely to feed our children at Jain Center harmful substance? So I'm surprised that it's taken so superficially, because the problem with the milk are overwhelmingly already proven. So I don't understand the hesitancy. And that is really my question is, why are you guys so hesitant about seeing the violence in the milk and the health problems with the milk? What is so difficult about it?
Is that a question?
That's a question. Why do you not see that?
So
No, I see it. I
think
But that is why we're supporting it.
Well, but I see a lot of hazy answers, not right straight out saying we understand the serious problem with it.
Pradeep Bhai,
and
I'm
we are
not
all
vegan.
for vegan.
Pradeep Bhai, I'm not
Particularly
vegan
at Jain
myself.
Center, not what you do
So-
in your personal life.
So Pradip, I think that question
Pradeep,
has
they
been
both
answered
supported it.
already, right? They
I know, but
already.
I see a lot of hazing in the answer.
I think
I don't feel the
we
clarity.
cannot force candidate. They are trying to do the best, sharing what they think they will do,
Right,
right?
and I'm expressing my opinion about they need to do a lot more research.
That is true, but that is not the intent of this. Is not a debate, right?
Well, it affects everybody's votes. In that, have they really thought this through or not?
No, that's fine. That's why we have this session for everyone to hear out the candidates where they stand, and we make a decision, right? So
Well, also to guide the candidates for the future.
True. But that is, again, I think we are going on a personal tangent versus where the Jain Center needs to
I'm
go.
talking about what we do at the Jain Center.
Yes, they already
You're going to
addressed that.
subject all the children there to a harmful substance. That is what I'm worried about.
I think we are going beyond the scope of what the election committee is going to allow.
We keep saying every year, but we are not really taking it seriously.
I think that's a very good point, but this is not the scope of this the conversation here. It's already covered. They already have addressed this question. So if there is any other specific question,
I would have liked to heard a lot more conviction. That's really what it is.
True. We all like it, but that they have provided their best. I think they have already answered it twice. So
they're probably going for the votes, which way the people might vote for their position. And if that's influencing their vote, that is a bad idea. I think I'll stop here, but I feel very, very seriously about this.
You can ask a direct question whether they believe in something, yes or no. That's a different story, but I think we have already covered that.
Yeah,
right? So if there is other question,
I'll stop here.
Yes. Yeah. No, thank you. Thank you for your sharing your thoughts, which is good. Any other questions we have? I know we extended way beyond our time. Prashant or Rupabin, do we have anything else in the chat? If not, I think we are
Yep.
we are way over time.
I don't see
So
anything.
we would
Prashant,
like,
are you taking that 318 question or should I ask? Because that is the
Go ahead,
important
Rupal.
question.
Yeah, go
318
ahead.
no, it's
Go ahead.
answer થઈ ગયો છે already.
No, I think the question has been answered, but I think what Pradeep Bhai is saying, we do not want people what they are doing at home. We just want to see what we will do at the Jain Center of Southern California. We want to see the candidates' opinion and whether they would vote yes or no, because just like a US Congress and everything, we want to see whether you believe in abortion or not, and this is how we're going to vote it for the candidate. This is how I think we should have it. So we want to see your vote. How would you vote if an issue comes up? That's why I put this question. So
And I think
and-
both of us, agreed on it, and we say we'll continue to what we have started it.
yeah, no, you did, but
So I
that-
don't
that's
know where
purpose.
the issue is. Yeah.
Now, I think we had enough
Thank
discussion.
you.
I think we are done. I think
Yeah.
we are done. We have already addressed to the best. I think it is now for the community to make a decision based on what you have heard. This is a democratic process. We certainly appreciate that. We are always looking for the candidate to say yes or no, which they have to a degree. They are able to answer that. But whether you're looking for what you find is not is really up to you. I think you'll have to make a decision based on what they have already shared, right? They have already addressed this question 2 times. So
And if anybody has any questions, they want to ask personally to it is me, they're welcome to call me and ask me those questions. I'm open for that.
there you have it.
All right, I think
Okay.
we're good for now. I think we're
Yep.
we're
So
good
we
for now.
are-
I think we already extended 15
Yeah.
20 minutes. So I think
Yeah. Yeah. So let's so thank you everyone for joining. We know it's Saturday, a busy time for everybody with other commitments. So we do appreciate it. Jay Shankal, can you please help with the closing?
Jai Jinendra, first of all, it was very good meeting here, and I'm happy that those who attended, it shows that they are concerned about Jain Center's future. Those who did not attend, please spread the message that we have 2 good candidates who are running for one position, and we need to select one candidate. I want to commend both candidates that they have answered all the questions very candidly, and whatever they feel, whatever they can serve, however they can serve the center. So I want to thank both of them. I want to thank our election committee who has taken this job on their hands. Dharmesh Bhai, Rupa Ben, Prashant Bhai, on behalf of EC, BOD and Jain Center, I thank you very much for conducting this election process. And I'm very confident that whatever left, we have 2.5 weeks to go, and you will do it very well. So thank you. Thanks everyone for attending this meeting. And let's wait for the, as Kalpesh Bhai and Ashok Bhai both said, that if anyone has any personal question, do not hesitate, contact them. They are very approachable and accessible, and they are easy to talk to. So please call them and ask them personal questions. They will answer the question. Thank you again, Jai Jinendra. And let's request maybe Prashant Bhai to do recite Navkar Mantra. How about that, Prashant Bhai?
Thank you, everybody.
Namo Hari Santanam Om Namo Sitanam Om Namo Ayariyanam Om Namo Uvajayanam Namo Loe Savasahunam Eso Panchanamo Karo Sava Pava Parasano Mangalanam Cha Savesim Paramam Havai Mangalam Paramam Havai Mangalam.
Jai Jinendra.
Jayendra, thank you,
Jai
everybody.
Jinendra, everyone.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Jai